So, this is the first video of the course. I would assume that you have already installed Flutter, and if you haven't, you can go to Google and you can just type installing Flutter. So, you can go there and check your, sorry. So yeah, you can select your operating system and install Flutter there. You can follow the instructions based on that. I won't go there because like it's already on the Google, so I'll come to the main point. Whether you're using Windows or Mac OS or anything, just follow these instructions to install Flutter on your machine. And I'll be using Android Studio instead of VS Code because I was previously an Android developer, so that's gonna be any more handy for me because I know the shortcuts of Android Studios and I'm more comfortable with that. For like web developers, I mean VS Code will be the best option. So let's go there. I've already created a project, and whenever you create a project with Flutter.create, by default it creates a home page that's a stateful widget. But since I'm gonna go into the basics, so I've removed the home page, and here I'm gonna create my own home page. So now it's giving error because I haven't created any home page. So since we'll be talking about Scaffold here, Scaffold is basically a container that provides a structure for any screen. So I'm gonna tell you what a scaffold is and the basic structure of any screen. So I'm gonna create a package here, screens, and I'm gonna call it my homepage. Oh, all right. Keep in mind the naming conventions of a dot file. It should be small letters. And if you need to add some spaces, you don't make it camel case, you add underscores. So sorry. So if I on Android Studio, also on VS Code, if you type ST, it gives you an option to use the templates. So I'm gonna do it on a stateless widget since it's the basic and the first video, so I'm not gonna deep dig deeper into stateful at the moment. Stateless is the basic widget that cannot be changed, and so you just press it, it creates a stateless widget, and I'm gonna call it my home page, and then I'm gonna use material.dart as a package for this. When you press, I'm gonna go back and tell you on Android Studio on Mac, if there's an error, you just press Alt Enter anywhere where there's an error. It gives you the possible options to remove that error. Here, the import is missing. Now there's three possibilities. You can either use widget for a stateless widget, you can use material class, you can use Cupertino. I'll be going with material. So coming to the point, we'll be using Scaffold. As I said earlier, Scaffold is basically a kind of like a design pattern that contains various elements to design your screen. For example, you can have an app bar on the screen. The body is basically the middle area of the whole screen where you can add multiple buttons, multiple text fields and text items, lists, grids, and there are so many widgets that can be added inside the body. Then there's a bottom navigation bar. If you need to use tabs, you can add a bottom navigation bar. We'll go in details in more videos, but this video only focuses on the app bar, so I'm gonna use app bar. So what an app bar needs to check what an app bar needs, like what type of value should I enter? I press F1 by putting my cursor on that, and it's looking for a preferred size widget. Now, a preferred size widget can either be an app bar or a navigation bar. But navigation bar, a Cupertino navigation bar, it's better like if you use a Cupertino app for a Cupertino navigation bar, but since we're using Material app, so I'll be using an app bar and it's giving an import error, so I'm gonna press Alt Enter. As you can see, there's no import of my homepage, so when I'll press Alt Enter, it's gonna import the library screens, my homepage, and now the error has gone. So coming back to my home page, I'm gonna use an app bar. Now an app bar can have a title, a leading action. So I'm gonna talk about leading, title, and actions. Leading is a widget. Leading requires a widget. Leading usually lies on the left side of the app bar. So I'm gonna just add an icon, and Material provide an icons library. So I'm gonna try if there's some like menu kind of, yeah, we can see a menu button here. So on the tab later we'll be adding drawer, and then there's a title. I'll be using text, so I'll call it my home page, and then we're gonna use actions. Action requires a list of widgets. Now, if you're using the Flutter app on big screens, like you're creating a web page or a web view, then you can add as many widgets. But like on a small app, since we'll be targeting mobile devices like Android or iPhone, it's not a uh, good case like if you have too many widgets on the right side. So action widgets lies on the right side of the app bar, so one is enough. So I'm just gonna add a settings button, because later on we're gonna work on the implementation of settings button. So I'm gonna add an icon, let's say, and icons or settings, and that's it. So now we have our app bar. So I'm gonna run it, and you can see that's the app bar on the leading, like I said, on the left side. Sorry. On the left side of the page, as you can see, there's a hamburger sign. That's the menu. That's a setting button. Now there's a debug banner. You can remove it by simply going to main.darp, and under your application, you can select debug show check mode banner. By default, as you can see, it's true. So I'm gonna make it to false. Now, you might be wondering that why the color is green. You can change the color, but I'm gonna dig deeper. I don't want to tell you here. The quick answer is you can uh, change the colors primary swatch color here. But what is primary swatch? What is theme data? What is a material app? Stay tuned for my next videos. I'm gonna tell you in details what is that app class does. So right now we're gonna just do basics. So this video, the target of this video is only app bar. So now you understand, just like if you want to change the color, you can change it to blue, let's say, and I'm just gonna hot reload it and it turns it into blue. And yeah, if you can see, like there's no space at the right side of the screen. So let's see if we can add some space. So here, like actions, it's an array, so we cannot add any padding here. So let's see if we can add some margins or paddings. Since we cannot add any padding here, So what we can do is like wrap this widget with padding, and by doing this on all sides, it's gonna add a padding of 8 on all sides. But I don't want it to be all sides. I'm fine with the space on top and at the bottom. I just want it on the right. So I'm gonna use edge insets only, and I'm gonna go with, by default all values are 0. So I just want to change the right value. So I'm gonna give a padding of 10. And the short, so I just want to like repeat it. I'm sorry because I forgot to mention that. So you can simply do it by selecting the icon, press alt enter, and Android Studio gives you various options whether you want to wrap with widget, center, container, or padding. We're gonna go further into that stuff, but right now we just want to add padding, so we're gonna wrap it with padding. So it adds the padding of 8, and I just want it on the right side. So yeah, and now I'm gonna hot reload it. You can see now there's some space, which is looks good. So yeah, that's all for this one. Stay tuned for my next